In the jungles and islands of the Pacific, American soldiers learned to respect a Japanese weapon that refused to fail, no matter the heat, mud, or chaos of battle. Stay with this story to see how one Japanese weapon was built not for comfort or speed, but for endurance, and why it defined how Imperial Japanese infantry fought World War II. When World War II spread across the Pacific, Japan faced a brutal reality. Its soldiers would fight in some of the harshest environments on Earth. Dense jungles, tropical rain, volcanic islands, and relentless heat demanded weapons that could survive abuse. The answer was the Type 99 Arisaka rifle. The Type 99 was not elegant, but it was extremely strong. Built with heavy steel components and simple mechanics, it was designed to keep working even when neglected. Dirt, sand, and moisture that crippled other weapons rarely stopped it. For Japanese infantry, reliability was survival. Unlike many Western rifles, the Type 99 emphasized durability over speed. Its bolt-action design was slow compared to semi-automatic rifles, but it was almost impossible to break. Soldiers could drag it through mud, strike it against rocks, or leave it exposed to rain, and it would still fire. In the Pacific War, this mattered deeply. Combat often happened at short to medium range with limited visibility. Engagements were sudden and violent. The Type 99 delivered powerful shots with excellent penetration, capable of punching through cover and foliage. Accuracy and strength compensated for a lower rate of fire. Japanese infantry doctrine reflected this reality. Soldiers relied on discipline, concealment, and ambush rather than sustained firefights. The Type 99 fit perfectly into this approach. It rewarded patience, careful positioning, and decisive shots at the right moment. The rifle also symbolized Japan's wartime mindset. Early war Type 99s were well-finished and carefully made. As the war dragged on and resources disappeared, later versions became rougher and simpler, but they still worked. Function always came before appearance. Allied troops who captured Type 99 rifles often commented on their toughness. While they preferred their own weapons, many acknowledged that the Arisaka could survive conditions that destroyed other rifles. In the unforgiving Pacific, that reputation mattered. The Type 99 did not give Japanese soldiers a technological advantage, but it gave them something just as important: confidence that their weapon would not fail them in the worst conditions imaginable. In World War II, the Type 99 Arisaka became more than a rifle. It became a symbol of endurance, an infantry weapon built to survive when everything else broke down. As the Pacific War intensified, the Type 99 Arisaka continued to shape how Japanese infantry fought at the ground level. Battles were rarely about open fields or long firing lines. They were about sudden contact, dense terrain, and close-range encounters where visibility vanished in seconds. In these conditions, reliability mattered more than rate of fire. Japanese soldiers learned to use the environment as an extension of their weapon. Thick vegetation, darkness, and uneven terrain allowed them to control when and where fights happened. The Type 99 supported this style perfectly. Its solid construction and powerful cartridge allowed soldiers to fire confidently from concealed positions, even through foliage or light cover. The rifle also reinforced a doctrine built on discipline and endurance. Japanese infantry were trained to endure hardship, remain hidden for long periods, and strike decisively. The Type 99 demanded patience, but it rewarded it with consistency. When a shot was taken, it was meant to count. Its strength was especially evident in prolonged campaigns. Weapons exposed to constant humidity and salt air often suffered corrosion and failure. The Arisaka's robust design resisted these effects better than many contemporaries. For soldiers isolated on islands with limited resupply, this durability was critical. The rifle's role extended beyond standard combat. It was often paired with bayonet tactics, reflecting Japanese emphasis on close engagement. In these moments, the Type 99 became both firearm and spear, reinforcing a style of fighting built on resolve rather than volume of fire. As the war progressed and Japan's situation worsened, production standards declined. Late-war Type 99s lacked features and finish, but the core function remained intact. Even stripped down, the rifle continued to fire. This persistence mirrored the larger Japanese war effort, strained, reduced, but still functioning. Allied encounters with Japanese positions often revealed this reality. Even when ammunition was scarce and conditions were dire, Japanese weapons continued to operate. The Type 99 did not change the course of the war, but it ensured that Japanese infantry remained dangerous to the very end. In the unforgiving environment of the Pacific, where equipment failure could be fatal, the Type 99 Arisaka proved one thing above all else: endurance was a weapon in itself. The Type 99 Arisaka also shaped the psychological rhythm of Pacific combat. Japanese infantry often fought from concealed, prepared positions, waiting silently for the right moment. When fire finally erupted, it was sudden and deliberate. The rifle's power and reliability reinforced this approach, turning surprise into a force multiplier. For Allied soldiers, this created constant tension. Dense jungles and broken terrain hid defenders until the last second. A single, well-placed shot could halt movement or force units to slow and reorganize. The Type 99 did not rely on volume, it relied on timing. That made every advance feel uncertain. The weapon also reflected Japan's broader strategic limitations. Industrial capacity and resources were constrained, especially as the war dragged on. The Type 99 was designed to function with minimal maintenance and inconsistent supply. Ammunition quality varied, parts were reused, and repairs were improvised. Yet the rifle continued to operate. This tolerance for imperfection became one of its defining strengths. Training reinforced this resilience. Japanese soldiers were expected to maintain their weapons under extreme conditions, often without proper tools or facilities. The Arisaka's forgiving design made this possible. Could be disassembled, cleaned, and reassembled quickly, even in the field. In island campaigns, where isolation was common and reinforcement rare, the Type 99 became a constant companion. Soldiers relied on it through long periods of waiting, sudden engagements, and exhausting conditions. Its presence offered a form of stability in an otherwise unpredictable environment. As Allied forces gained momentum, the contrast in firepower became more pronounced. Semi-automatic rifles and automatic weapons gave them clear advantages in sustained firefights. Yet even then, the Type 99 remained dangerous. In defensive fighting, where patience and positioning mattered more than speed, it continued to threaten advancing troops. Looking back, the Type 99 Arisaka represents a different philosophy of warfare. It was not built to dominate through technology or speed. It was built to endure. In a theater defined by climate, distance, and attrition, that endurance mattered. In World War II, Japan's infantry weapon of choice did not change the outcome of the war, but it defined how Japanese soldiers fought it, quietly, patiently, and with a rifle that refused to fail when survival depended on a single shot. The Type 99 Arisaka also reveals how Japanese infantry adapted to a war they were increasingly forced to fight defensively. As Allied advances gained strength, Japanese units relied more heavily on prepared positions, natural cover, and carefully chosen engagement zones. The rifle fit this reality. It was not meant for rapid advances under fire, but for holding ground as long as possible. In caves, bunkers, and hidden firing points, the Type 99 proved effective. Its powerful cartridge allowed Japanese soldiers to engage through brush, wooden cover, and light fortifications. Even when outnumbered, well-positioned defenders could slow entire advances, forcing Allied troops to proceed cautiously. The rifle's simplicity also shaped battlefield endurance. With limited spare parts and dwindling supplies, Japanese soldiers could not rely on replacement weapons. The Type 99's rugged construction ensured it remained functional despite neglect, corrosion, and wear. It became a tool of persistence rather than dominance. This persistence affected morale on both sides. For Japanese troops, the rifle symbolized duty and resolve, fighting on regardless of circumstances. For Allied soldiers, it reinforced the idea that even isolated defenders remained dangerous. Progress in the Pacific was rarely quick or easy, and the Type 99 played its part in that reality. As the war reached its final stages, the Arisaka remained in service despite severe shortages. Late-war rifles were crude, lacking finish and features, yet they still fired. This stripped-down functionality mirrored Japan's situation. Reduced, pressured, but still resisting. In hindsight, the Type 99 Arisaka stands as a weapon shaped by environment and necessity. It was not designed to overpower enemies through innovation, but to survive conditions that destroyed less robust equipment. In the Pacific War, survival itself was often the deciding factor. The Type 99 did not define victory, but it defined endurance. And in a war fought across jungles, islands, and endless hardship, endurance was the one quality Japanese infantry could always rely on. The Type 99 Arisaka also illustrates how Japanese infantry warfare became increasingly shaped by isolation. Many units fought cut off from supply lines, air support, or hope of reinforcement. In these conditions, equipment failure was not an inconvenience, it was a death sentence. The rifle's ability to keep functioning with minimal care gave soldiers one less uncertainty to fear. This reliability allowed Japanese units to plan for long resistance rather than quick victories. Positions were prepared carefully, fields of fire selected in advance, and ammunition conserved. The Type 99 fit this defensive patience. Each shot was deliberate, intended to slow, wound, or disrupt rather than overwhelm. Time itself became a weapon. The rifle also reinforced the cultural emphasis on duty and persistence. Japanese soldiers were trained to fight even when success was unlikely. The Arisaka became a physical extension of that mindset, solid, unyielding, and dependable even as conditions deteriorated. It was a weapon meant to last longer than the battle itself. Allied after-action reports often noted how difficult it was to fully neutralize Japanese positions. Even after bombardment, defenders frequently emerged with working rifles. The Type 99 contributed to this resilience. It did not break easily, and it did not demand ideal conditions to operate. As combat shifted from offense to delay, the rifle's role remained consistent. It was used to deny movement, punish exposure, and force caution. In jungles and hills where every step mattered, this slowed advances and increased casualties. The Type 99 made every approach costly. By the final months of the war, the rifle had become a symbol of Japan's strained but persistent resistance. Production quality declined sharply, but functionality remained. These late-war rifles were crude, but they still fired, still hit hard, and still served their purpose. In the broader history of World War II, the Type 99 Arisaka stands apart from more famous weapons. It was not revolutionary, nor especially fast or modern, but it was honest in its design. It accepted the reality of the Pacific War and answered it with endurance. That endurance defined how Japanese infantry fought, from the opening battles to the final days. Quiet, patient, and unyielding, the Type 99 did exactly what it was built to do: survive long enough to keep fighting when everything else was falling apart. The Type 99 Arisaka also shows how warfare in the Pacific became a test of limits rather than momentum. Unlike the fast-moving fronts of Europe, many Pacific battles were slow, grinding struggles measured in meters, days, and attrition. In this environment, weapons that emphasized endurance over speed found their place. The Type 99 was one of them. Japanese infantry often fought knowing that retreat was unlikely and relief uncertain. Their rifle had to function not just for a battle, but for weeks or months of resistance. The Arisaka's solid construction and tolerance for abuse allowed it to remain operational long after lighter, more refined weapons might have failed. This reliability supported a strategy built around delay and denial rather than decisive victory. The rifle also influenced how terrain was used defensively. Elevated positions, narrow approaches, and concealed firing lanes were chosen to maximize the effectiveness of single, powerful shots. The Type 99's strength allowed soldiers to exploit these advantages, turning geography into a weapon. Every ridge, cave, and jungle path became part of a larger defensive system. For Allied troops, this meant that progress was rarely uncontested. Even when superior firepower was available, movement required caution. The presence of a reliable enemy rifle in hidden positions slowed advances and increased psychological pressure. The Type 99 contributed to the constant sense of danger that defined Pacific combat. As the war neared its end, The Arisaka remained in the hands of soldiers who continued to fight despite overwhelming odds. It had outlasted supply shortages, bombing campaigns, and harsh climates. In that sense, it became a symbol not of victory, but of persistence under impossible conditions. In history, the Type 99 Arisaka is often overshadowed by more famous or technologically advanced weapons. Yet its story is inseparable from the reality of the Pacific War. It reflects a form of combat where survival, patience, and resilience mattered more than speed or innovation. In World War II, Japan's most enduring infantry weapon did not change the course of the war, but it defined how Japanese soldiers endured it. The Type 99 Arisaka also highlights how Japanese infantry warfare became deeply defensive and attritional as the conflict progressed. Early war ambitions gave way to a grim reality in which holding ground, delaying the enemy, and extracting the highest possible cost from every advance became the primary goals. The rifle fit this phase of the war perfectly. Japanese positions were often prepared with extreme care. Fields of fire were planned to channel attackers into narrow approaches. The Type 99's power allowed soldiers to exploit these kill zones effectively. A single rifleman properly positioned could slow an entire unit. In this way, the weapon amplified the effectiveness of small numbers. The rifle's durability also mattered during prolonged bombardment. Artillery and air strikes shattered terrain and equipment alike. Weapons buried in dirt, shaken by explosions, or exposed to the elements often failed when needed most. The Arisaka's robust construction meant that even after such punishment, it often remained functional. That reliability kept defenders dangerous even after overwhelming firepower had been used against them. This endurance influenced how battles ended. Advances were rarely clean or decisive. Japanese resistance often continued long after positions were considered neutralized. The Type 99 played a role in this persistence, allowing scattered defenders to continue fighting independently. Combat did not always end when the main line was broken. The rifle also shaped the rhythm of exhaustion. Allied troops advanced cautiously, knowing that even a single hidden defender could inflict casualties. This constant tension slowed operations and drained morale. The Type 99 did not need to dominate the battlefield to be effective. It only needed to remain present. By the final stages of the war, the Arisaka had become a symbol of stubborn resistance rather than victory. It represented a force that continued to fight under impossible conditions, relying on durability and discipline rather than advantage. The rifle's continued use reflected a refusal to surrender the fight easily. In the broader story of World War II, the Type 99 Arisaka stands as a reminder that not all influential weapons are defined by innovation or firepower. Some are defined by how well they endure reality. In the Pacific War, endurance was everything. And through heat, rain, isolation, and relentless pressure, the Type 99 Arisaka endured, shaping how Japanese infantry fought until the very end. The Type 99 Arisaka also shows how warfare in the Pacific became a battle of will as much as firepower. Japanese infantry were often expected to fight without hope of reinforcement, evacuation, or victory. In that reality, a weapon was not just a tool, it was a constant companion in isolation. The Arisaka filled that role by being dependable when everything else was uncertain. As supply shortages worsened, ammunition became precious. Japanese soldiers adapted by firing only when necessary, choosing targets carefully, and avoiding waste. The Type 99 supported this discipline. Its accuracy and power encouraged deliberate shots rather than continuous fire. Each round carried weight both physically and psychologically. The rifle also influenced how time was used as a weapon. Japanese units aimed to delay rather than defeat. Every hour gained, every meter denied, mattered. The Type 99 allowed defenders to maintain pressure with minimal resources. Even a small group armed with working rifles could force Allied units to deploy artillery, air support, or armor, slowing operations and stretching supply lines. Environmental hardship remained constant. Weapons rusted, wood warped, and metal weakened under tropical conditions. The Arisaka's design resisted these effects better than many others. Soldiers could rely on it after days of rain or weeks of exposure. In an environment where nature itself was an enemy, this reliability was critical. The rifle's role in final defensive battles further cemented its legacy. As Japanese forces withdrew to prepared strongholds, the Type 99 remained the backbone of infantry resistance. Even when stripped of features and produced with minimal finish, it continued to function. The weapon reflected a philosophy of survival over refinement. From a historical perspective, the Type 99 Arisaka represents a different path of military design. It prioritized endurance, strength, and simplicity in response to harsh realities. While it could not match the firepower of Allied weapons, it ensured that Japanese infantry remained a threat under the worst possible conditions. In the end, the Type 99 did not symbolize technological dominance. It symbolized persistence. It tells the story of soldiers who fought on despite isolation, scarcity, and overwhelming odds, and of a weapon built to survive alongside them. In World War II-specific theater, where climate, terrain, and attrition shaped every battle, the Type 99 Arisaka became an enduring presence. Not because it was fast or modern, but because it lasted, and in that war, lasting was everything. The Type 99 Arisaka also reflects how Japanese infantry warfare became increasingly solitary. As battles stretched on and units were fragmented, soldiers often fought in small, isolated groups or even alone. In these moments, coordination mattered less than individual endurance. A rifle that could be trusted without question became essential, and the Arisaka filled that role. Japanese defenders learned to integrate their weapon into the landscape itself. Firing positions were carved into hillsides, concealed in vegetation, or hidden inside caves. The Type 99 strength allowed it to be used from awkward angles and cramped spaces without fear of damage. It became part of the terrain, not separate from it. This style of fighting forced Allied troops to adapt constantly. Advances slowed as every ridge and treeline was treated as a potential threat. Even when resistance was thin, it was rarely harmless. The continued presence of functioning rifles ensured that danger never fully disappeared from the battlefield. The Arisaka also played a role in shaping memory and perception of the Pacific War. Veterans often recalled the stubbornness of Japanese resistance more than its firepower. The rifle symbolized that stubbornness, simple, persistent, and difficult to eliminate completely. By the war's conclusion, the Type 99 Arisaka had been carried through years of attrition, retreat, and isolation. It had seen the full arc of the conflict, from early expansion to final defense. Its continued use underscored how much the war had become about endurance rather than victory. In historical terms, the Type 99 stands as a reminder that effectiveness is not always measured by dominance. Sometimes it is measured by how long a weapon can remain relevant under the harshest conditions. The Arisaka remained relevant until the very end. In the Pacific War, where survival often mattered more than success, the Type 99 Arisaka fulfilled its purpose. It endured alongside the soldiers who carried it, shaping a style of warfare defined by patience, resilience, and unyielding resistance. In the end, the Type 99 Arisaka was more than Japan's standard rifle of World War II. It was a weapon shaped by environment, isolation, and necessity, built to endure heat, rain, neglect, and constant pressure. It reflected how Japanese infantry fought the Pacific War, patiently, defensively, and with unwavering persistence. The rifle did not offer speed or overwhelming firepower. Instead, it offered certainty. In jungles, caves, and remote islands, it continued to function when everything else broke down. That reliability allowed Japanese soldiers to resist longer, slow advances, and turn every step forward into a calculated risk for the enemy. The Type 99 did not change the outcome of the war, but it defined how Japanese infantry endured it, quietly, stubbornly, and to the very end. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want to keep exploring the weapons, battles, and hidden realities of World War II, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. More stories from the Second World War are coming next.